side, ref!
Welcome back to In From The Side, another week, another show. We are continuing with our series of picking our fantasy dream teams of the last 30 years. I'm here with my co-host and partner in crime, Matthew Rhodes. Welcome back, Matt.
Hey, mate. How you going?
Yeah, lekker, man. I see you wearing the green today.
Yeah, I had to represent, obviously. We got our usual green and gold up and around us, but today we're doing another green team.
Yeah, we are picking our best Irish team of the last 30 years, of the professional era. I wanted to wear, I've got an Ulster jersey, but I couldn't fit in it, so I went with the plain black. I learned something over the last week. We got great engagement from all the Welsh fans.
Thank you for that.
Big thank you to everyone out there who supported last week's video and really engaged on social media. But I don't know if you saw, Matt, a lot of people said, why didn't you, Johnny Fox, definitely in the midfield. You had to pick Johnny Fox. I didn't know that Jonathan Davies' nickname was Johnny Fox, or Jonathan Fox. So you learn something new every single day on this channel. So thank you very much to our loyal fans.
Yeah.
Our 15 subscribers that we have.
15 are now 16 subscribers.
I think we've got 16 subscribers.
Yeah, we love the engagement, love the comments. Some really nice comments from the Welsh people, showing that they understand that we do our research and we maybe illuminated some names that they'd forgotten. So we appreciated that. But it's a fantasy team. It's a fantasy 15 that we both get to pick independently. I don't know what he's going to come up with. He doesn't know what I'm going to come up with, and we hash it out together. So if there are names and people that we omit or forget that you think that we're crazy, let us know. But obviously just remember that there's only 23 that we can pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a bit of a challenge to our Irish fans out there because we got a lot of engagement from the English crowd, a lot of engagement from the Welsh crowd. So we'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure that this selection's there's going to be a lot of debate,
There's
mate,
a
because
few squeaky ones, I reckon.
this was difficult. Looking back, and I'm not even talking about the amateur years. The other day we spoke about someone like Simon Gagan, Willie John McBride, Mike Gibson. These guys aren't in the running for this selection because we're purely picking from the pro era.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, just looking at that list of players, 1 to 15, that Ireland's produced, there's been some world-class players. And I think we're going to debate a couple. Should we just get into it?
Straight into it, brother.
Right.
Let's go down.
As usual, back three. Who did you pick?
So for my back three, 15, I went Rob Kearney.
Yeah.
95 appearances, 82 points, 2 British and Irish Lions tours. In my opinion, he is outstanding. One of the best fullbacks of the modern era. Fantastic under the high ball, excellent defensively, and really exciting with the ball in hand. Whenever he had the ball in hand, it looked like he was going to do something with it. Really strong character, read the game well. So Rob Kearney gets the nod for me at 15. The wings, there were some great wings to choose from as well. So I struggled. I mean, right wing, I went Tommy Bowe. And left wing, Mr. Quick Feet, Disco Dennis Hickey.
Dennis Hickey, interesting. Okay,
so
that's maybe a little bit. He was good, but a little bit left field maybe.
A little bit left field. So Tommy Bowe, 69 appearances, 150 points, 30 tries. I mean, just like unbelievable.
Good return.
2 Lions tours as well, 09 and 13. He had speed, power, he had great finishing ability too. He was a try-scoring machine. And he could play centre, so he had that versatility. And then on Dennis Hickey, Disco Dennis Hickey as his nickname, he had 62 appearances, 145 points, 29 tries. Again, finishing, unbelievable finishing. He had the Irish try-scoring record until Brian O'Driscoll beat that.
Yeah.
And he was just fast, elusive, prolific. So he may be an outside bet in comparison to some of the other names that were there, but his finishing was class.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very similar. I went Rob Kearney at fullback. There wasn't a lot of competition. I mean, Hugo Keenan in the current side's really good.
Jordan Murphy
was in with a shout. Jordan Larmour I looked at, and there was Conor O'Shea from the 90s, who also coached Italy, but he wasn't really that, up to that standard. Rob Kearney, like you said, very solid under the high ball, good reader of the game. Yeah. There was a couple of times where Ireland were on the defensive in their own 22. He would read the pass going out from the opposition, intercept and run the length of the field. He's done that a couple of times. And I vividly remember that second test for the Lions at Loftus in 2009. People still talk about that performance of his. It's one of the best performances in a Lions jersey. So I think Fullback was a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Couldn't really see a lot of competition. Wing was really difficult. I did pick Tommy Bowe for the same reasons you said. Great finisher, long career, great servant of the game in Irish rugby. I don't think a lot of people will argue. The other wing was difficult because I had Dennis Hickey, Shane Horgan, Jordan Murphy, Simon Zebo, Andrew Trimbo, Simon Zebo, Jacob Stockdale when he was in his prime.
Mate, he was
really
so
good.
good.
He was so good. Mac Hansen. There's a couple of names that really stand out. I went with Keith Earls. 101 tests. I think he scored 36 test tries, so he had a better return than most guys.
Yeah.
He was awesome. And he's not an obvious choice. He's one of those guys where you just felt like he maybe wasn't the most naturally talented player, but somehow he got to 101 tests. And he's an Irish legend, Munster legend. I really liked him.
101 tests, 180 points, as you say, 36 tries. He could play centre, wing, and I think he could play fullback as well. So he had versatility.
He could probably do everything.
Yeah.
But for some reason, in my mind, he's very underrated. You know, he's a guy who played 100 tests. He wasn't always the first choice for Ireland, but he had a very long career. He played from 2008 to 2023. I mean, that's 14 seasons. That's a long,
he did well. That's a great
long
shot.
innings. 16 seasons actually he played. Yeah, that's a long innings.
Yeah, great shot. And as I say, some of the other names there, Shane Horgan as well.
Yeah, he was good. Big, strong guy.
And even in the current setup, James Lowe. But again, I don't think James Lowe's had the longevity or the time that maybe some of these others have to get to that great status yet. But I love watching James Lowe.
Yeah,
play.
I totally agree. I think in the current crop, James Lowe is probably one of the best wings in world rugby. He's phenomenal.
Agreed.
He hasn't even played 50 tests yet. So I think if we have this conversation 10 years from now, he'll probably be in the side.
He hasn't played 40 tests yet.
Yeah, so he still has a long way to go. You know, he's still very early in his career. But great player.
Yeah, for
absolute star. Okay, cool.
Nice.
That's the back
Good
three.
kickoff.
So now the big question is who partners Brian O'Driscoll in the midfield, right?
100%. So there's no question Brian O'Driscoll.
Absolutely.
He gets his shout. But it was tough for me because again there's some incredible names: Gordon Darcy, Gary Ringrose, Kevin Maggs, Robbie Henschel in the current setup. But I went with Bundy Aki. So
okay, interesting.
And again, this is gonna be controversial. I'm sure there's gonna be some Irish lads that are wanting to lynch me. But 63 appearances, 95 points, 17 tries as well. Just unbelievable return. He's physical. You know, he's a modern day player, World Rugby Player of the Year nominee 2023, and I just think he's a smart rugby player and he's tank. And outside the Brian O'Driscoll, who himself 46 tries, every accolade under the book, a thinking man of rugby, so smart, so intelligent, reads the game well, so strategic. He could put Bundy Aki into space and they'd be a wrecking ball partnership together.
That'll be a fantastic partnership. I'm not going to lie. You're right. Brian O'Driscoll picks himself. Yeah. It's never a debate. I feel sorry for a guy like Gary Ringrose. You know, he was as good as he is. He was never going to make this fantasy side because we had O'Driscoll.
Always.
A lot of people will make the case that Brian O'Driscoll is the greatest 13 ever. I think he might be second best. But that's a video for another day. We're going to get to our Mount Rushmore series. But Brian O'Driscoll, I mean, what can you say about the man? Fantastic player, played from 99 to 2014. Top try scorer in Irish rugby history. He's the top try scorer in Six Nations history. No one's ever scored more tries than he has in Six Nations. I vividly remember his hat-trick against France in 2000 and that sublime try he scored against Australia in the first test for the Lions. We just cut through that Australian midfield. Like, he was potent on attack and deserves his
mate,
spot
but on defense as well, he was a monster.
Yeah.
So he was a monster in defense, unbelievable in attack. And I think he was nominated for World Player of the Year 3 times.
Yeah.
Just
probably should have won it once.
Yeah.
You know.
There was a scoring system error in the final where Richie McCaw, I think, got awarded Player of the Year by 1 point through the adjudication, and then the judge who, I think, as it goes, the judge who gave the point away said that it was because of a scorecarding error. So again,
is that Richie sneaking in from the side again?
Yeah, in from the side, mate. In from the side. But Brandon Driscoll, you can't say enough about how good he is.
Absolute legend of the game.
Legend of the game, and really good and fun to watch now as a commentator and pundit after. But there's a case to be made for Gordon Darcy to be his outside partner. They were so great together. Gordon Darcy, 82 appearances, 35 points. But again, a defensive brick wall. And he was, as a pairing, they were fantastic. So tough for me. I went with Bundy Aki, but for me at the time, Gordon Darcy was there. So
because of that pairing, I picked Gordon Darcy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about it, and I'm like, you can pick anyone of Robbie Henshaw, Gordon Darcy, Bundy Aki, Kevin Maggs. There was Rob Henderson, British Lion in 2001. He played alongside O'Driscoll in his early days. All fantastic players. You probably could have picked any one of them, but just that combo of Darcy and O'Driscoll for over a decade, I think they were probably the best, with Jean de Villiers and Jacques Fourie, the two best centre pairings on the planet. And Darcy himself played over 80 tests. He had a very long career. And I think he played a big part in O'Driscoll shining. Like, he put him into space a lot of the time. He had a big hand in how good O'Driscoll was outside of him. But Aki, again, I have no issue with that. I had him in my side.
Oh, did you?
And I changed them out. Yeah, I selected him initially, and then I thought, you know what, it could be any one of Aki, Henshaw, Darcy, and I went with a combo with O'Driscoll.
So I had Gordon Darcy first, and I switched him with Bundy Aki. I just feel Bundy Aki is more explosive.
He is.
He's got more points tally, and the World Player of the Year nomination in 2023 just seemed to pip it for me.
Fair point.
Right.
Fair point. No, I can't argue.
Who'd you go in the halves?
Halves, I mentioned this last week when we spoke about the Welsh fly halves. A bit of a conundrum at fly half. I did go Johnny Sexton.
Okay.
Which I'm not going to lie to my Irish fans out there. I had to grind my teeth. He's not a very well-liked person outside of Ireland. South Africans tend to not have a lot of love for Johnny Sexton. But I tried to be very objective, and what he's achieved in rugby should not go unnoticed. World Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He was nominated a couple of times. He's the top point scorer. He's won so much with Leinster, Grand Slams with Ireland. He had, apart from the World Cup, he won pretty much everything.
Yeah.
As did Ronan O'Gara in saying that. But I think Ronan O'Gara just missed out, which was really tough because for me he was a very, very intelligent fly-off, very smart player. He could mix it up. He could play flat, very attacking. He could sit in the pocket and play a very defensive style game. And that combo with Peter Stringer in the 2000s was really, really good. But I did pick Johnny Sexton, and at scrum off I picked Conor Murray.
Okay.
Again, just pipped it ahead of Peter Stringer. Jameson Gibson Park was in with a shout, but similarly to James Lowe, just hasn't been around in the Irish squad for that long.
Yeah.
I think a guy like Conor Murray, and it's not a sentimental selection because he just announced his retirement, but at the time, I did the research, 124 tests. He scored 28 tries, I think. Fantastic player. Very good around the ruck. It's something that I loved about Joost. Joost could snipe around the ruck. There's so many tries that Conor Murray scored where the forwards do the hard work and he just snipes around the fringes.
Yeah.
And he looks for space and he scores. But I think that combo, Conor Murray, Johnny Sexton, world class.
Yeah, so I went Conor Murray, but I went with Ronan O'Gara.
Okay.
So again, it came down to, you could have picked either Sexton or O'Gara, and it's all fair and well. Statistically, I think Johnny Sexton is slightly better, more points tally. So he's got 1,108 points from 118 games, where O'Gara's got 1,083, so 30 shy from 128 games. So more games, more longevity, more caps, but less points. For me, I felt O'Gara was tactically, he was a better technician and therefore a better fly half in that respect, but very difficult to call. Like,
there was nothing in it.
It's neck and neck. And when push came to shove, I went sentimentally, and I liked and preferred O'Gara in the way that he played, so he got one.
True. I also personally I would have preferred O'Gara. For me, he wasn't as much as a hothead as Sexton. Sexton tends to lose his cool every now and again. O'Gara was a lot more calm and composed on the field, although he did have a couple of errors. Famously, that up and under he kicked against the box in that second test at Loftus, tackled Fourie in the air and pretty much cost him the game. He conceded a penalty. So he had some errors that he had in his game, but nothing in it, mate, really. It was between the two. I mean, there's a couple of other guys, David Humphreys, Eric Elwood, but they're not really part of this conversation. It's always a two-horse race.
And in all of the ones that we've done before, all the other conversations, other than, our fantasy picks, other than France, it came down to fly halves who had tallied up 1,000 points plus. Andre Pollard for South Africa. France, we struggled. We went with Freddie Michalak and he had 400-500 points. I went Neil Jenkins for Wales, more than 1,000 points. And Ireland have been very lucky in that they've got Ronan O'Gara and they've got Johnny Sexton almost back to back. So they've had an outstanding person standing in fly half.
And two fly-halves that won the Grand Slam for their country, or had a significant impact on winning the Grand Slam with drop goals.
Yeah.
Johnny Sexton did it against France in 2018, won the game in Paris with a drop kick in the last minute. Ronan O'Gara did it against Wales in 2009, kicked the last minute drop goal. They won the Grand Slam for the first time in 60 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so hard to call between them. Conor Murray, for the reasons you said, I thought he had less. I thought it was more closer to 19, 20 tries, but you're the oracle. I'll take your pick on that one. But tactically, one of the best minds in the modern era. Brilliant box kicker, really, really physical, and a leader on the field as well. So sorry to see him hang up his boots, but with 124 caps,
what an innings.
Fair play. Yeah.
No, fantastic. Okay. Loose forward, I say this every week, it's the most difficult combo to pick because every single country we go through has produced fantastic loose forwards. So I think I might have thrown a little bit of a left field one year, but I did some research. I did speak to one of my Irish mates and got his point of view, and then I went onto YouTube and watched a bit of videos to do my research. So I did make a late change, but I'm keen to hear from you. Who did you pick?
So I went at 8, Jamie Heaslip.
Yeah.
CJ Stander. CJ Stander and Anthony Foley were the other options. That
I thought you picked CJ. Okay.
No. Like, I loved CJ Stander and the way they played at 8, but I went great. Jamie Heaslip, 95 appearances, 65 points. He was world class carrying the ball.
He was good.
Great offloading, defensive machine as well. And he was a mainstay of Ireland's sort of great sides. 2009, 2013 British and Irish Lions as well. And he was nominated for Player of the Year, I think, in 2009. So Jamie Heaslip for me, at 8th man. And then blindside flankers. This is where flankers, I really struggled because there's some bloody good flankers.
There's so many good flankers. How do you pick?
I think the one, Peter O'Mahony, 111 caps, 25 points. And then the other, Josh van der Fleer, 71 and 65. Josh van der Fleer, 2022 World Player of the Year, is a relentless tackler, such a great player in the current squad. Peter O'Mahony just hung up his boots this week, I think, as well, alongside Conor Murray. Again, fierce leader, great captain, would run through walls, very passionate player. Love the way he played, love the way he spoke, conducted himself in the field. But there were some other names that I was toying with in and out, but I went with those two instead.
Very similar. Okay, so originally I had exactly the same loose trio. I went Jamie Heaslip for exactly the same reasons. Yeah. Great carrier of the ball, very dynamic, strong defender, great off the back of the scrum. Always got you meters going forward, so can't fault you there. I had Josh van der Fleer, World Player of the Year 2022. Can't look past that. Again, if you just look at his YouTube clips, he is dynamic, man. Not just fetching and turning over balls, but defensively carrying the ball. He reminds me so much of a Heinrich Brosseau. Same type of player. Yeah. Short, stocky, strong, but carries well as
Jackals really well. Yeah.
On the other flank, I had Peter O'Mahony. And then I did a bit of research and I went onto some forums and I listened to what Irish fans said. And then I went and looked at some footage and I picked Stephen Ferris.
Okay.
So I'm very interested to hear from our Irish fans out there what they think about this selection because I had Peter O'Mahony.
A lot of people say Stephen Ferris is one of the best. 35 caps, 10 points only. It's not a hell of a lot behind him, but the way that he's spoken about in in Irish communities, rugby communities.
I say this a lot, mate. Forwards aren't there to score tries. You know, we can't really gauge anything on their performance based on how many tries they score. He only played 35 tests because he had to retire at 27 because of an ankle injury.
Yeah.
But when he played, if I look at that 2011 World Cup against Australia, that's one example. He was the closest thing to a Peter Steph Totoy that I've seen in Irish rugby. Just like physically dominating, carry people back in the contact point. A very strong ball carrier. Like Peter O'Mahony is a fantastic player, great defender. I don't think there's anyone in Irish rugby that had more heart and passion for that jersey.
100%.
I'll give that to him. But I think just in terms of impact, although he had a very short career, I think Stephen Ferris might just have been at his peak, a better player. But I'm happy to be challenged, and I want to hear from folks out there. But again, there's some other names, mate. Just looking at flanker number 8, Simon Easterby, David Wallace.
David Wallace
very good.
was...
I didn't pick O'Mahony. Sean O'Brien.
Yeah,
How good was Sean O'Brien? British Lion. Anthony Foley. There was another number 8, which I highly rated in the late 90s and early 2000s. Eric Miller.
Dennis
Leamy. Jack Conan. CJ, you mentioned. So many good loose forwards.
So many good loose forwards. David Wallace, 2 British and Irish Lions, one of the most explosive back rowers.
Absolutely.
You know, he's a Lion starter, 72 caps as well, so, you know, he had longevity.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Stephen Ferris, though, you think 35 appearances. Imagine if he hadn't been cut short because of his injury, what kind of career he would have had. Because in just 35 short games with 10 points, he still has himself held in such high esteem by anyone who watched him.
I literally just think about the physical specimen that he was. I don't think anyone in that loose trio
they say it was unplayable.
came close to him. Like physically strong, dynamic, impactful.
Great tackler.
No, I had to find space for him in the team. Difficult not to pick O'Mahony. You know, having played over 100 tests, how do you not pick someone that played over 100 tests? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I went with that.
Fair play.
Okay, locks again. A couple of good names. It wasn't that simple. I'm pretty sure Paul O'Connell's one.
He's my captain too.
Is he your captain? Okay, who else did you pick next to?
And then I went with his longtime buddy, Donko O'Callaghan.
Yeah, he was on my shortlist.
Yeah, so I love the lock pairing. They were such a good pairing for so long. So many great names as well. James Ryan, Donker Ryan, Tad Byrne as well to consider. But Paul O'Connell, 108 caps, 40 points, talismanic leader. He's also world class in the line out, and he would run through brick walls and get people to follow him through brick walls. So he was sensational. Donko O'Callaghan, 94 appearances as well. Like had longevity, didn't quite make the ton, but he was close. And again, you talk about it, 94 appearances, 5 points. He scored 1 try in his entire career, but he was there to do the hard yards.
Win the set piece and play in the loose. Yeah,
hardworking and aggressive. I also just have this endearing image of him having his shorts ripped. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You need to get that
in a Munster game.
In the Munster game. And he's there with his jocks and he's trying to do the line out. And I think you can even see the prop who's going to lift him going, this is... No.
Get some pants on.
No, he was a character, but, fair play. He was good in the in the short spaces and in the dark arts. He was good at what he did, and he played a perfect partner to Paul O'Connell, so I kept the two of them together.
No, they were a great combo. They were a fantastic combo. I picked Paul O'Connell when we picked our Australian side.
Yeah,
spoke about Nathan Sharp, and Victor Matfield said, Nathan Sharp was he named him specifically as one of the toughest locks he ever played against. Paul O'Connell was the other one. Those are the only two guys that I can remember that Victor ever said they gave me a hard time. They showed me a thing or two. So O'Connell picks himself. I would also make him captain on my side, so I agree with you there. His locking partner, I did not pick O'Callaghan. I went with Malcolm O'Kelly.
Okay.
Another player that played over 90 tests, started in the late 90s, 97, I think he made his debut. Played all the way through to 2009, could have made 100. I really just liked him. I had a lot of memories of him as a youngster watching him play. I thought he was highly rated. There were a couple of other guys as well. Devon Toner, Ian Henderson in the current squad, James Ryan, Tag Byrne. There was another guy who played for the British Lions in 97 and 2001, Jeremy Davidson. He just didn't play enough tests, but he was really rated. He was a really good player. But I like Malcolm O'Kelly. Right? Same reasons as picking Donica O'Callaghan. Strong in the set piece, strong in the tight loose. Just wore his heart on his sleeve. Great player.
Good
But
shout.
there's nothing in it between those two players. I think they were very similar as well.
One played with shorts, one didn't.
I picked the one with the shorts. I thought he would make a better
Better shout.
impact.
Yeah, fair play to you.
Absolutely.
Nice one. And
Okay.
then we get to the front row.
Front row, I think the props are pretty easy to pick. Although there's a lot of good players, I went with Cian Healy at loose head and Tag Furlong at tight head.
Okay.
Those were the obvious choices for me. And hooker, it wasn't a tough one for me to select the hooker, but it was very easy, difficult not to pick Rory Best, but I had to go with Keith Wood. Like, Keith Wood is just, if you think Irish rugby,
You think Keith
I
Wood?
think Keith Wood, Uncle Fester. Like, he's the only hooker I ever saw chip and chase a couple of times. Like, he could chase his own kick, score a try. He was, reminded me a lot of Uli Schmidt in the 90s as well in South Africa. A guy that liked running with the ball, very dynamic ball carrier, strong in the set piece, strong scrummager.
Mate,
And I
15 tries. Like, that's a
hooker.
For a hooker.
That's not bad.
I think at the time when he retired, that was the highest try tally of any hooker in world rugby ever. And I think, if I'm right in saying it, it was the highest tally of anyone in the tight five at the time. I think the only other one he was beating at the time was Sean Fitzpatrick, and I think Sean Fitzpatrick was on 12 tries.
Yeah.
But 15 tries from a hooker in that playing era as well, where, it wasn't as common to see a Malcolm Marks at the back of the scrum going down to score a try,
Yeah.
right? Because they were going for the line, catching the ball in the line out, mauling, and then dotting over at the with the hooker dotting over. 15 tries, man.
But again, like the type of tries he scored, like you say, it wasn't off the back of a ruck. It was running through like a centre, chipping and chasing. He scored some tries that some backs would love to score.
Yeah.
But that's not the reason I picked him. Again, just doing the fundamentals of playing in that position. He was really good, strong at the set piece, great scrummager, strong scrummager.
I have an endearing image of him playing. I think it was the Five Nations at the time, and this is when we would get satellite TV and Zim with the satellites that looked like they were from NASA. They'd have to come and set them up in your house and, searching for signal at XYZ, whatever. And we'd go around to whoever's got so I'm about 8 or 9 years old, we're watching. And the camera comes up, there's a line out, Keith Wood grabs the ball, and the linesman tries to usher him in line. And because the camera's right there, we caught everything. And he was like, as he touched him, "Don't fucking touch me!" But like, it was him looking down the camera saying it, and I'll never forget it. It just made me piss myself laughing.
That's
so
brilliant.
he was a great shot, but I actually went the other way. So Lou said, Cian Healy, 136 appearances, 60 points, hung up his boots this week. Incredible servant to the Irish game.
Beast, man.
But
Absolute beast.
An absolute beast in the scrum. Like, fair play to you. Most capped Irishman, dominant in scrums, extremely physical, won it all as well with them. Also, I think Leinster's all-time
probably.
caps, 287 caps for
Made
Leinster.
17 seasons he played for
Unbelievable.
Ireland. That's unreal.
You've earned your rest, my man. Good luck to you and all the best. And to Conor Murray and obviously O'Mahony as well, who hung up their boots this week. But I went with Rory Best, OBE. Mr. Sir, to be maybe in the future. Rory Best, 124 appearances, 60 points, captain. Just, I know what you're saying about Keith Wood. He is, you think about Irish rugby, you think about Keith Wood, but it cannot be a discredit to Rory Best, just simply that, because of what Rory Best achieved in his own right. I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fantastic hooker, consistent player, did all the things that good hookers should. Won the set pieces and controlled the set piece, and also was a fantastic leader. So I think for me, he just picked Keith Wood. And then on tight head prop, I went with John the Bull Hayes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No Tag Furlong.
No.
Interesting.
So again, it was switching between the two, but 105 appearances, 10 points, just the rock of Irish scrummaging for over a decade. Scrum, powerhouse, incredible work rate. He was also a key part of Ireland's sort of rise in the sort of early 2000s. 2 British and Irish Lions tours. First man to make 100 Irish appearances as well. So, for a prop, he was
great longevity.
Great longevity.
Career.
So I had to chuck him in there.
No, that's fair. I mean, again, there was a lot of good front rowers. We spoke about Rory Best, Ronan Kelleher, Dan Sheehan in the current squad. They're both great hookers. Paul Wallace was another good prop British Lion.
Mike Ross.
That we could have picked. Mike Ross, David Kilcoyne, Jack McGrath, Finlay Beelum, Andrew Porter, all in the current squad. They're all great players. So again, a lot of good front rowers to pick from. I can't fault you on John Hayes. Strong scrummager, the Bull.
Anyone who gets the nickname the Bull, is prop.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Just going back to hooker, I think one of the reasons why I love Keith Wood is he didn't play during Ireland's glory years. Like he played in a struggling Irish team. That got the odd win against England or France, but overall he didn't play in their greatest era, and he was the one standout player in that side. And then later O'Driscoll came, and he was the standout player. So I had to make space, but maybe that's a little bit of my personal bias. I just love the man.
I love the man too, and it was very difficult for me to leave him out, but I thought Rory Best gets my nod, but we'll see what happens when we go to the bench.
Well, let's go to the bench. What does it look like?
So for me, I had Keith Wood on the bench.
Okay.
So Keith Wood, Jack McGrath, and Tad Furlong to come on. And I think as a bomb squad, sending that front row on, because I think Keith Wood was very explosive ball carrier.
Yeah. And
so Rory Best, send him on, hit Mr. Consistent, get him through the first 60, and then send Keith on with 20 odd minutes to go.
Oh, he'll do some damage. He'll run through you.
A hooker chipping over to go and score in the corner. Maybe done more often around tired legs. So that's why I again, should I keep him in? I put him on the bench. He runs on. Jack McGrath, we talked about, strong scrummager, reliable, powerful. And then Tad Furlong, as you said, arguably one of the best tight ends.
Again, monster.
Yeah.
Just a beast of a man.
Yeah. So when you spend half your match up against John the Bull Hayes, and then all of a sudden Tad Furlong comes on, you've had a tough day.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it.
Yeah, that's not an easy day out.
I then went with Tad Byrne to come on. So 59 appearances, 60 points, versatile. So you can play like a hybrid lock and flanker role. And he's also incredible at turnover. So I think, again, in those later moments of the game, but because of the versatility, he would cover both flank and lock. I like that. So he went in there. And then for me, my other to finish off my scrum reserves would be Sean O'Brien. So Shawnee, 56 appearances, 30 points. He's a wrecking ball, key in Ireland's dominance under Joe Schmidt. 2 British and Irish Lions tours, 2013 and 17. He's a good pundit and commentator as well. He seems like a really good lad, funny guy. He was European Player of the Year award as well, but flanker and could play 8th man. So that versatility I really liked.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was awesome.
And then with my backs, Peter Stringer comes on to replace Conor Murray. Peter Stringer, 98 appearances, 30 points, lightning fast pass, man. We've talked about this often, or at least I've said this often. I like it when the scrum half gets the ball.
Snappy service. That's what you want.
So he gets the nod, and then Johnny Sexton comes on to replace Ronan O'Gara, because you can't leave Johnny Sexton out of an Ireland fantasy team.
He'll be upset about it.
I mean,
he won't be happy sitting on the bench, especially under O'Gara, because they didn't always get along when they played.
Again, my team versus your team. Let's see how your reserves went. But he gets the nod. He's in the squad, and he goes on to finish off the game with a drop goal either way. And then my final pick was Keith Earls. So
nice.
So Keith Earls, 101 appearances, 180 points, 36 tries. My guy.
It was awesome. I loved it.
Unbelievable.
He was a great finisher.
36 tries is an outstanding return. British and Irish Lions tour in 2009. Also, he could play centre, fullback, and wing. So again, that versatility comes in.
Amazing to think that he played 101 tests over 15, 16 seasons, only ever went on one Lions tour. That's insane. That I don't get that. Why was he overlooked that much, specifically by Gatland? Gatland just didn't ever pick him.
Didn't like him. Yeah.
Very interesting, mate. That is a strong bench. And what's interesting is the guys that I started with, you benched. And the guys that that you started with, I benched.
Yeah.
So a lot of familiar names. Again, in the front row, I picked John Hayes at tight head, Jack McGraw at loose head. Same reasons. Two great scrummagers. Longevity in their careers. They both achieved so much in their careers and both deserve to be part of the squad. Picked Rory Best at hooker, right? Because I picked Keith Wood. He was the next best. Definitely deserves to be
No
in
pun
the squad.
intended.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no pun intended. But yeah, the great front row backup. Can I just say that I'm very proud of you and me because we both picked a loose head and a tight head on the bench. So no one can give a shit about two loose heads or two tight heads.
You know how I stress about making sure that there is a tight head on the bench.
Mate, at one point I'm like, I'm sure Andrew Porter played loose head at some point, didn't he? Because I know he's a tight head. I actually had to go and check, but I'm happy with those selections. So no one can give a shit about picking those two props on the bench.
And if anyone wonders why we're talking about this, because we didn't pick a tight end when we went for England, and we got a lot of stick.
A lot of stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I also went with Tag Burn. And that's why I smiled when he brought up his name for all those reasons. He's versatile, can play lock, can play flank, great over the ball, strong ball carrier. Mm-hmm. That series win, that Ireland beat New Zealand in New Zealand. He was the player of the tour.
He was immense.
He was the player of that tour. He was unbelievable. Yeah. So, again, he steps up in big games. Like when the pressure is up, he's the one guy that will produce. I think he's one of the best ever. And he deserves to be in the squad. I also picked Sean O'Brien.
Nice.
As backup. And Lucy, we're very difficult because I dropped Omani out of my squad. So he doesn't even make the 23.
He doesn't even get a shout. Yeah.
Which is really difficult. And I'm sure people will disagree with that. But I just think, again, Sean O'Brien didn't play as many tests, struggled with injury a lot. But he was just a little bit more dynamic, I think, and he'll make a bigger impact. Halfbacks, Peter Stringer, same reasons, great service, longevity in his career, 98 tests. I feel so bad for him. He never got to 100. So short of 100 tests, but great player, been around for
again, no pun
years.
intended, just short.
Okay, Matt. These things aren't planned, mate. They just roll off my tongue. It must be the brandy. You went with Sexton on the bench. I went with O'Gara on the bench. Yeah. And as unhappy as Johnny would be, I'm sure Ronan won't be happy starting on the bench behind Sexton. But that was really difficult. Again, I'd be very keen to see what the Irish audience out there says. You know, who are better between these two. It's very, very subjective. And then trying to select sort of utility back was very difficult because they had very specific players in very specific positions. I did go with Robbie Henshaw.
Okay.
Purely because I really liked him. I think he can play 12 and 13. You can probably stick him anywhere in the back line and he'll do a decent job. But great career thus far. He's 79 tests. He's been around for 13 seasons. Awesome player. Sad for guys like Ringrose who didn't make the squad. But yeah, I liked Robbie Henshaw. That's my 23.
Fair enough, buddy. That's a good team. Good team. And we picked a lot of the same people, obviously just alternating between bench and starters. This team, I think, on both sides, yours and mine, would stand up to any team. I'm not sure if they would beat any team, but they would stand up and give a good run to any of the teams that we've picked.
With either of these teams, will Ireland win a quarterfinal?
One would hope. One would hope they would get over the line.
That's not going to go down well.
It's not going to go down well.
But it's okay. Let me have it.
Do you know, I'm looking forward to the day that they can go one step further. Let's hope it's soon.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully.
But this team needs a coaching setup. Who have you gone with?
Only two. Well, there's a couple of great coaches. O'Sullivan was great. Declan Kidney was great. But it only really came down to two. It's Andy Farrell and Joe Schmidt. And now it's the debate is who's the head coach and who's the assistant coach. I think Andy Farrell took whatever Joe Schmidt implemented and he elevated that team. And he took them to the next level. I think they've been stronger under Farrell. They've been more consistent under Farrell. So that's why I went with Andy Farrell as head coach, Joe Schmidt as my assistant.
But this is why we do the show, mate, so that we can have a debate. I went the other way. So I went Joe Schmidt. I think he transformed Ireland into a dominant force.
He did, absolutely.
Yeah, winning multiple Six Nations titles, Ireland's first Grand Slam in nearly a decade in 2018. His structured clinical approach made Ireland one of the hardest teams to beat. And then Andy Farrell built on Joe Schmidt's success and his selections and all the work that he did, leading Ireland to another Grand Slam in 2023, making them number 1 ranked team in the world. Then he's got a defensive mastermind and he's a strong motivator, but I think so you're right, he made them better, but it was Joe Schmidt that actually transformed them into what they are.
Yeah, no, fair point. I mean, it was a toss-up between the two. Andy Farrell was assistant coach under Joe Schmidt, so it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic side, mate. That was fun.
I think
good. we ran through this quite quickly. Interesting to see that we picked a lot of the same players. It was just a debate on who starts and who sits
position.
on the bench.
Yeah, what position? It was fun. This whole series has been fun. Like going down through and doing the research that we've done, as you say, looking at forums, hearing people's previous opinions of similar selections that they made. But there's some great names there, and a few of them, as I say, hung up their boots this weekend, so the game is going to be poorer for it. But it'll be interesting to see who the youngsters are coming through, taking those spots, and who will be the greats for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie Osborne and these young guys coming through, it's going to be interesting. Sam Pendergrast, Jack Crowley. It's exciting times for Irish rugby.
Correct.
And they're probably going to do the Grand Slam this year, so let's see what happens.
Big game on Saturday.
Big game on Saturday. We'll fire up the braai.
Braai at my house. We're watching it in my house. Braai at my house, if anyone's interested.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Matt, we need to wrap up the series because we've got some great ideas for future content that we want to do on the show.
Sure.
But I think we've got one more to do. We need to wrap up the traditional Five Nation series. Let's do Scotland next week.
Yeah.
The last one. And then we'll go into some new content and hopefully we get more subscribers. We go up to 20 in the next couple of weeks. But we'll do this again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying till the end. Give us a like and a subscribe. Click the little notification button at the bottom of the screen. You'll get notifications on any new videos that we post on YouTube. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
All the platforms.
Yeah, we post videos every single day. We love to hear from you. Give us your thoughts. Join the conversation in the comments section. Give us some stick because I know we probably got a couple wrong. But we're also happy to learn. Like I learned Jonathan Davies' nickname was Johnny Fox. I didn't know that. So, happy to hear your thoughts. We'll do this again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers.
Cheers.